Comic Book Savant, episode 454. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant podcast. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode, I wanted to start what might be a new series on the podcast, which is called Bargin. It's been a lot of comments in the Facebook group, the Savant Society, over on Facebook. More and more people are joining, and the group has been growing quite a bit. And it's been a lot of conversations about comics, buying comics, transitioning. A lot of people are running out of space and transitioning over to buying digital comics or doing a hybrid of digital and physical comics. And a lot of talk has been going around about how to save money, how you find some of the best deals and things of that nature. So I thought it would be a good thing to do a segment or a series on the podcast about just that topic. I know all of us wrestle with our budgets and how much should we spend on comics or just the hobby in general and how to go about it. And I wanted to share some of my tips, because again, I have a pretty strict comics budget that I adhere to, and I buy quite a bit of comics each month with the little restricted budget that I have. So I wanted to go through some of the things that I've learned over the years in buying comics in different places. You can go online to buy your comics, be it digital or physical. I'm gonna right now tentatively call it the Bargain Bin, like I stated earlier. But before I get into it, as always, I'd like to give a shout out to my friends over at the Comics Podcast Network. You can find them over at comicspodcast.com. It's a great one-stop shop if you like comic book related content and you want to find more of it. You can go there. You have podcasts listed by publishers, characters, teams. So they're broken up in so many different sections. So you could pretty much find a podcast on almost anything you're looking for in the world of comics. Also, if you're up and coming podcaster, you want to help grow your audience, it's a great place to go. You can email the admin and see about getting added on. As far as I know, enrollment stays open to that, so it can help you join the Comics Podcast Network and list your show there in your episodes. They have a Twitter feed, Facebook feed as well that can help people find your show if you're just starting out and you're trying to grow your audience, which is a great tool for that, which is one of the main reasons that all of the creators that founded the Comics Podcast Network really came together for. That was when we came up with the whole concept for it, was for us to cross promote one another and help us grow each other's audiences by promoting individual shows and things of that nature for one another, just to help take our audiences and grow one another's organically in a help system. So and I have to say, it's been a very helpful tool for me in the years that I've been a part of the Comics Podcast Network. Gosh, I think it's been over about 10 years now that it's been a thing. And it's been very helpful. So definitely, if you haven't ever been, check out the site. It's comicspodcast.com. Is again, if you're looking for comic book related content, or you're a comic creator, a podcast creator that is dealing in the comic book genre that's looking to grow your audience, is also a great tool for that as well. So definitely, if you have a moment, check it out. And with that being said, let's jump into the heart of this episode. And again, this was a subject that I talk about a lot kind of on the YouTube channel. Right now, I'm kind of taking a hiatus. I was talking about this on the Facebook group just a couple of days ago. I've kind of stepped back. Everything's fine with me, because I know you guys, when I say stuff like that, you guys kind of worry about everything that has gone on with my health. I'm fine at this point. I think it was more of a mental thing, as sometimes it's hard as a content creator with me creating content on so many different fronts. It's way easier to do audio content to doing video content, just because the amount of time is way easier to, I mean, maybe it's not way easier. It's more convenient for me as a content creator, because I've been doing audio for 13 years. I could pretty much do it in my sleep. Where it's something like video, I'm still growing and learning. and all the dips and switches and changes that you have to deal with YouTube. Sometimes it takes, 5 times the amount of work to produce one video that I could do 2, 3, 4, even 5 podcasts with that same amount of energy and time that I put forth in that one video. And I needed just to kind of recover mentally. It was becoming a lot to constantly keep content out. And I'm a creator that I rarely do like a episode at a time. I normally, with audio, when I sit down and record it, I do like I do it in batches so that I know I have content keyed up for you guys in advance, be it via for the main podcast here, which is on a free platform. Also, if you support the show via Patreon, that's a weekly show. So I normally do audio anywhere in batches of 2 to 3 episodes at a time. When it came to videos, I would do anywhere from 3 to 5 videos in one session in recording. And it just took a toll mentally, and I just haven't been prepared to be back in front of the camera. But I've talked about it's been more of a topic or interest from the comment sections that I got on through YouTube. So I talked about it more there, and I start finding out through the Ask Savant episodes we did, and through the Facebook group, that more and more you guys were interested in me talking about it on the main podcast, which I had done episodes here and there, kind of testing the waters, as far as the numbers and that I would see. And I really didn't get much feedback on it. But it wasn't as many people. And I don't even really think the Facebook group was going as strong as it is now. So I get a lot more feedback. And that's why I say, like, feedback is key. Like, if you listen to episodes and I touch on something that you're interested in, let me know so I know to do more of it. I want to do content that I'm interested in talking about, but that you guys are interested in as well. If I'm doing something and I don't really hear any response from it, only thing I have to do is go from the numbers. I'll look like, oh, well, normally I get, this many downloads per episode based on this topic. From what I'm seeing, not too many people are interested in it. Then I will shy away from it, and I'll test it maybe on the Patreon, or I'll paste, we'll post a question on the Patreon, or I will post questions in the Facebook group. That's why I say it's imperative. If if you are a consumer of content, I want to give you content that you're interested in. So even the smallest feedback goes a long way to let me know how to direct the content that I'm going to create for you guys. I want to make something that I have fun doing, but then you guys enjoy listening to at the same time. If one of those two things are off, none of it works for me as a content creator and you as an audience. So it's a synergy that kind of goes together. That's why I always say, hey, if you have a moment, if you're already on Facebook, hey, join the group, and then you can interact. You can get to know me on a more personal level, fellow listeners. You can create relationships and friends and get recommendations. It's a one-stop shop, and you have access to me and the community in between the episodes at the same time, which is a great thing. So I'll like, if you're not familiar, the group is the Savant Society. It's facebook.com/groups/ the Savant Society, all one word. You can request to join. Once I see your request, I will approve you. You can come in, introduce yourself, talk about what you like in comics and things of that nature, just getting people familiar with you, and we're off to the races. But that feedback I get for you guys, like when new episodes come out and you're like, hey, this sparked, this thought, or I would like to see, I like this, I like to see more of these kind of episodes, things like that. I take all that stuff into consideration when I'm planning, because I plan out I try to plan out in advance. I try to keep a month or two, like a rough outline of subjects that I want to talk about. So I'm always asking and scanning. That's why I even say in the episodes, let me know if it's things that you're interested in, because I always like to, stay ahead. You would think after 13 years it would be hard to find topics to cover. It really isn't, because the industry itself keeps evolving and changing so much, but it's always just finding there's always new things, and there's always new perspectives to talk about. So there's never any shortage of ideas, but again, it's about finding the things that you guys are going to be interested to interact in a conversation or add to that conversation outside of just me talking. But getting into the whole shopping for comics and, how to do it most effectively. Now, I'm going to talk about just some basic keys. Be willing to do research. It's a constant thing. I constantly check online every day, sometimes multiple times a day, on deals, the different places that I go to. And then try different services. Like over the years, I've always been a techie and into technology and the internet. I'm trying to think. I've been online using the internet since 94, 95 ish. So I've been using the internet for a long time. So over 20 years at this point. I've been online. My background is, web design, IT. So a lot of what I've done always is focused around online technology. So I just always been on it. I've tried so many different services over the years. I've used so many different retailers and stuff online. So I've had my good and my bad experiences, even when I was ordering physical comics, I did a lot of shopping and experimenting online with different retailers. So I've used a lot, but I think it comes down to try a few different services. I talk a lot about in stock trades and discount comic book service. I have a relationship with them. They're sponsors to the show, to the YouTube channel. We've had a strong relationship. I used them before I started podcasting. They came on very early. Have been a supporter of what I've done. They supply when I do giveaways. They supply and sponsor those. So when I give you guys stuff, it's because of that partnership. They're reliable. That's one reason why I always speak of them and I speak highly of them. I don't just use them exclusively. When I do buy physical comics, or if I've done like some videos and I've done some spotlights and things like that on the YouTube channel. That's via, the partnership to show how the service works and to explain how it works. So if you haven't used, I know some of you have contacted me via email or even in like the Facebook group, and you told me like I never heard of DCBS, or I never heard of In Stock Trades till you talked about it. And I don't talk about them so heavily anymore, but since I see it's a need and many people are branching out, like, hey, I can't keep affording to buy, it's always great to support local comic book shops, but the thing is they have to adapt because it's so many online retailers with shipping being so fast. You can even order physical comics through Amazon and get them with Amazon Prime with same day, a day, or within 2 days, and save 30, 40, 50%. Some people have contacted me and said, man, you spotlighted this book or you told me about In Stock. I got a comment. This is a perfect example. I got a comment on a YouTube video a few months back. I did a review. I can't even remember what trade it was. Someone said they had bought it at a local comic shop, paid like $100. They happened to just look because I was mentioned in stocktrades.com. They went, it was 50% off. And they felt like, man, I felt like so stupid. But he's like, no, and going forward, I don't know. And I was like, it's not being stupid. You go with what you know, and you want to support the industry. But, again, if you have a finite budget and you're trying to make your dollar stretch as much as possible, you're going to want to save money so you can get more bang for your buck. And that's what I'm a huge advocate on. You use a combination. And so, first off, be willing to do your research. Step 2, find a few sources that you're comfortable or outlets you're comfortable with, and learn how often or frequently they might update their offerings, their sales, how they rotate their sales out. Like for me, I use a combination of a few things. I talk about you have for physical, on the physical side of comics, you could do something like DCBS, your local comic shop, in stock trades where you're getting physical books. You can also use Amazon, which you could do physical, and you can buy digital through them. They have you can buy digital books that you can read on your Kindle, and they bought Comixology. I don't know, maybe like three or 4 years ago now. So they also own them. They're a company owned by Amazon. The great thing is, if you do buy, you can go to the Amazon website and search for comics under like the Kindle section, and you can buy digital comics there. And this great thing is they have things earmarked and say like, hey, I think they have the Kindle Unlimited plan. They have certain comics that you have access with as a part of that Kindle Unlimited program. Then they also will say if you subscribe to Comixology Unlimited, which is Comixology's subscription service, they'll let you know if that's available for free on that as well. So they'll earmark what books are available where, depending if you're signed up to one of their multiple different subscription programs, be it Kindle Unlimited, be it Comixology Unlimited. They earmark those. And then certain times they just in general, if you want to buy digital comics to read on your Kindle, they have their own sales that are totally independent from anything that you will see on Comixology at all too. So you have multiple tiers with physical as well as digital comics, which, they're multi-pronged. Comixology proper, the site, is only dealing with digital comics. But again, you have the flexibility with Amazon.com that you can go either side. So if you're still struggling or trying to determine, you can get either or, which is great. Then I also at times use Marvel's website. Now they have a subscription service called Marvel Unlimited, and then they have another option which is Marvel Unlimited Plus, where you get more features and bonuses, and it's a little bit more expensive if you do the annual sign up for that. And like you get a welcome packet. Again, I've done a deeper dive in all this stuff on the YouTube channel. I have a series called the Comic Book Collector's Guide, where I really deep dive and break down all these individual services. I compare them against one another. So if you want to really go into that or know more about it, check that playlist out over at youtube.com/comic book savant and look for the playlist, the Comic Book Collector's Guide. And it dives into that. The reason why I wanted to mention this is that if you use Marvel Unlimited Plus, you get a discount towards purchases of digital comics and using the Marvel shop of about 15% with the Unlimited Plus. From what I was trying to find out for sort of clarify this, I couldn't find it because they updated the pages recently they've revamped the Marvel website. So when you go to Marvel Unlimited, it was harder to find. I had to find old information from a previous show notes I had saved about the discount. But it's from what I saw from my notes, only Unlimited Plus offers you the discount towards physical things that you will buy in the Marvel shop, and then you get a 15% discount with Marvel. The Marvel digital shop, if you want to buy comics there. Cool thing about that, if you buy comics digitally directly from Marvel, you can sync your account with Comixology and they will all filter over there. Same thing works with DC. If you buy digital comics directly from DC from either their web store, or if they have a digital code in the books, most of the comics come with digital codes, you can redeem those codes. And those books if you have your account synced to Comixology, all will show up there. So you can have everything. You won't have all these separate sites you have to go to get to your collection. Everything can filter into Comixology as a main depository for you to have all your digital books. Now, if you subscribe to Comixology Unlimited, one of the bonuses of Comixology Unlimited is with your monthly subscription. They don't have an annual sign-up option yet. Maybe they might be finally announcing something. I've emailed them multiple times trying to get clarification. They said it's in the works. We don't know when it's going to arrive. Maybe going into this holiday season this year, they might finally announce something. But right now they don't. You just pay, I think it's $5.99 a month. And you can check out up to 50 books at a time with the service. But the cool thing about it is you get discounts ranging from 10 to 15% discount off of books you would buy through Comixology if you are subscribed to Comixology Unlimited, and it varies for publisher if you get the 10 to 15% discount, and it will have it clearly marked on the book what percentage you get off on the individual issue, which is so good. And you get that discount on top of any other sales that they might have going on. So it also, like, so if they have a sale where, Marvel has multiple sales going on at any given time. Let me look. I'm just going to give you guys a quick example of sale. I'm just going to pull up the site randomly now. I'm recording on a Friday morning. Right now, Marvel has a New Mutant sale going on. So they have, just looking at the first book here, they have the New Mutants Epic Collection. I don't even know what volume this is. Renewal. So I think this is the first volume of the New Mutants in Epic Collection. They have that here. Regularly retails for $16.99. The sale, I think, is a 50% off sale. With a 15% discount, what I would pay if I purchase it right now would be $5.09. So they show you what the original retail price is. We don't show you what after the sale. Then the 15% discount comes off of the actual final sale price. You'll get that additional 15% markdown, which is great. So like I said, you even save that little bit more on top of, which is great. And they do that with all the different publishers, and they'll show you like if it's 15 or if it's 10. But for most of the major publishers, it's like a 15% discount. Some other ones, it might be 10%, or you might not get any additional discount. I'm just looking at some of the other sales here, like it's a Dynamite sale going on. So with Dynamite published books, you get a 10% discount. Image, you get a 10% discount. Marvel DC is 15%. So it just depends on the publisher how big your actual discount may be, but you do save additional money. One other thing I wanted to mention about the Marvel website, they have a program that's called the Marvel Insiders. And basically what it is, you sign up with your sign-in, you sign up to become a member of the Marvel website, which is totally free to do. They have different things. They have like an activities page. So if you read an article here, you listen to a snippet from one of their podcasts, if you watch a trailer through their site, you get points accumulated. And once you get so many points, or if you play some of their digital games and you link your social media accounts, there's all these different activities you can do in the Marvel Insiders program, and you will accumulate points that you can then redeem towards just different stuff, be it comics. Like if you save up enough points, I'm going to pull it up so I can just give you guys a rough example. I've picked up quite a few books over the years. Also, I think it's limited to like 10 books a week, but if you buy the physical books and say the digital codes, because all the Marvel books, I think DC stopped doing the digital codes in their books, but I think within the past year, or certain titles they'll deem as special and they'll put digital codes in. It just varies. Marvel, as far as any individual monthly books they do, all include a segment in the back where you have a digital code included. So I think it's a limited. If for some reason Marvel site's not loading, it's trying to be difficult, because they know I'm recording a podcast and I'm trying to give you guys some information. And yeah, Marvel site's not loading. But anyway, you gain points where you can redeem towards like wallpapers, images, like cover images for wallpapers, and like it'll be like a bundle where it'll be a social media thing. So you'll get a computer wallpaper, a phone wallpaper, and like you'll get a little package. You redeem your points, they'll send you a link, you download that stuff off to your computer and you have it. Or you can redeem points, like I said, for they'll have like bundles of comics, or they'll have like some of the digital collections like trade paperbacks or epic collections. If you get enough points, you can redeem towards those kind of things, or you can redeem things in for different things in the like mobile games and things like that. You can get redeem points for that. So it's really a really cool program that incentivizes you to interact with the site, and you gain these points that you can actually get tangible things back in return, which is really cool. Like I said, I've accumulated quite a few books and bundles and things like that over the years by doing that. So you might want to take advantage of that if you're already online. DC doesn't have any similar said program on their site. But they do have their subscription service, just like Marvel and Comixology has theirs. DC has DC Universe. And it's a hybrid kind of service where they offer original video content to watch, original programming. They also have a back catalog, not a complete, extensive back catalog of all cartoons and movies and things like that. But it's a limited, because all the rights things are so messy with all the different shows, so you won't see like CW shows. They have they rotate from time to time the movies that they have. They have somewhere around 30 to 40 movies of the animated films, and some of the live action ones. The live action ones, sometimes they will rotate in and out. The animated movies, they'll have a certain staple of mainstay ones. Then they'll rotate out some older ones and replace them with other ones from time to time. They do a great thing that they started doing, I guess, within the past 6 months or so, where all the new DC animated releases, they won't come out on DC Universe when they're released digitally, when they go on sale digitally, because that normally happens before the home video releases, the physical release comes. Once it has a street date and it's released on that day in home video, where you can go out to your big box stores and purchase them, they will come onto the actual service for a period of time. It alternates certain times with certain movies, like Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It hadn't came on the service. I haven't checked, because I know the newer Wonder Woman movie, I don't think is on there yet. But they do a newsletter where they update you. Like, you can sign up for a newsletter for DC Universe, and they'll update you and let you know when certain things are coming each month. I'm just double checking as I'm talking to you guys. Is Wonder Woman Bloodlines on? Because it's been out. I think it's on sale retail now. Because I know I just recently purchased it, but it's not on here yet. So it varies, but they have a newsletter where they will let you know, like, when certain movies. I know for a fact when Batman Hush came out, it was, when it released in home video, it was on the service immediately. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, that was another one. The Death and the Reign of Superman, that both of those they're still on here. So the more recent ones, they've been real good about, once they come out on home video, it will transition onto the service. So if you're not sure if you want to buy it, and this is something I do, and this is one way I save a ton of money. I don't pay full price for the movies. If I'm waiting around, and because I do reviews on all the DC animated films, I will wait till they show up here and wait to watch them and review them. I do the reviews on the Patreon, so that's one reason. If you missed those reviews, they weren't getting a lot of downloads. So I did a poll. The Patreon supporters still wanted the reviews. I started doing them there because they were the audience that requested and were actually receptive and asked me what happened to those. But anyway, I digress. So I started doing those there, so it helps me save a little bit of money. And I buy and it's not just comics that I've gone fully digital on, my video games. In my whole time that the PlayStation 4 has been out, I've only bought games digitally. I switched over towards the end of the PlayStation 3 era. That's kind of when I went through and changed over. So it's been I think I went mainly digital with all my media about 8 or 9 years ago now, if I remember correctly, maybe 10 years ago. I was kind of skirting a lot about 10 years ago. So, but it's been a good 8 to 9. I think 2020 will be about a solid 9 years at this point, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I made that switch across the board. I will, wait and I will do the review initially here. If I really like the movie and know I want to buy it, I wait. Because after, again, I learn patterns from the retailers I buy from. I buy all my movies primarily through iTunes. So once it's been out and it comes out the street date, normally a week or two after it comes out in stores, it will go on sale on iTunes for $9.99. And then if I really enjoy it and I want it in my collection, I will then purchase it from there, which I pretty much do for most of the movies. It's been a few that I haven't reviewed highly, and then I will not buy those, but I own about, I guess, 90%, 90 to 95% of all the DC animated films. But that's kind of the process I use to kind of, maximize my dollars and to save money where I can. But DC Universe also, like I said, has that benefit. And also they have access to their comic library as well. At first, they did this whole confusing thing where it was curated. They backed away from that and they opened up their library. So you have a massive, 30,000 comic back catalog, and they're adding things. They add new comics literally weekly to the service, adding more and more books. And which is similar to how Marvel Unlimited works. And I said I wasn't going to deep dive, and I'm so deep diving when I'm talking about DC Universe, which I apologize. I have videos that I talked about earlier that is on the YouTube channel where I do all this, so I apologize for doing it twice. But again, check out those videos. Again, you have a service, In Stock Trades, which is phenomenal. If you on the physical side of things, they have discounts ranging from about 30% all the way up to 50% on their homepage. They do a deals of the week that they spotlight, if I can talk, spotlight 5 to 10 books each week. So you can really save a ton here in your physical comics. Like I'm looking, I just pulled up the site. So they have deals of the weeks, Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 1, getting 50% off. They have Marvel Masterworks Amazing Spider-Man hardcover Volume 21, 50% off. So again, that's their deals of the week. And then just in general, you can save anywhere from about 32 to 50% off. Definitely that's something worth taking advantage of all the way. So if you're still into the physical comics, also if you're a US resident, you buy $50 up to $50 or $50 or more in an order, you get free shipping. But as long as you're within the US, that's a great bonus as well. Then they have their sister company, which is Discount Comic Book Services. They offer a service of, it's basically mail order comics. They will ship the comics directly to your doorstep. I think they used to use DHL back in the day. I think they use FedEx now. And you can get your books shipped to you weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. You order directly out of the previews catalog. So you will order 2 months in advance, pay a month in advance, and then you get your books the following month when they're released and they ship out. You can order directly through their website, or they have like an Excel spreadsheet that you can fill out. Again, you actually order through the previews catalog that come out that the comic retailers use. Reason being, they can offer you bigger discounts because you're ordering the same way the comic book shop. So they can offer you bigger discounts. They can offer special bundles, like when big events happen, like Heroes in Crisis or the House of X and Powers of 10. When that was going on, you could get bundles with all the comics where you would get them, instead of paying full cover price for them, you would get them for 99 cents an issue, or even less in some cases if you go ahead and you're pre-buying those. So since you're ordering directly, you're paying up front for your books, they get to offer you. So that's how you can save a ton of money, and it's quite effective. It takes a while to get used to the ordering process, and once like you're switching over to it. So what I did when I first started using them 15 years ago, I think it was, because I started using them about a good 2 years before I ever started podcasting. I would do a hybrid of, I would still buy some comics from my local comic shop while I was waiting, getting adjusted to their ordering cycle and getting that flow down. For me, most of the time, When I was in my heyday, I got books shipped every week because I was ordering so many books. When I slowed down, I never did monthly shipping because I'm too impatient. I can't wait a whole month when I was reading comics like that. So I could wait 2 weeks, but so I would do bi-weekly shipping. So I would get two big packages every month. But when I was doing when I first was really getting back into comics and reading comics heavy, leading into me starting the podcast, I had to get books shipped every week, and I would have a big shipment every week because I was ordering that many books. I think at that time I had like a 200 I was buying like $250 worth of comics a month back then. This was a long time ago when I really could afford it before. Well, was I married? Yeah, I was married at the time. I was through my first marriage, but things had changed, and I don't spend even a fraction of that much now. If I spend $50 in a month on comics, I'm stretching at this point. So way different. But it's really cool. If you want to do that physical thing, you could definitely maximize the amount of money you spend and what you get back on your return, as far as the amount of comics you get for your money. But I ran into that problem when I was using them at the time, is that I was probably saving money, but I was buying way more books, and then I started delving into hardcovers and stuff. So that's why the amount start raising up, because then I was buying singles, then I was buying absolutes, and you get discounts on all that stuff the same way, because you order through the previews catalog as well. Also, I wanted to bring up, there are also free options as well that you can get books for free to read. It's a service called Hoopla Digital. I also did a spotlight on the YouTube channel as well. This is linked with the public school system, public library system. If you have a library card in your local area, you can sign up for this service, and depending on your local library is on how much you can check out in a month. For me, I can only check out 2 books. We talk about this all the time because those were a recommendation that I got from the Facebook group, as well as someone in the comment section on one of my videos that told me about Hoopla. It's different per public library. Different ones have different requirements. For me, it's 2. I've seen people say they had 8, 10 things that they're allowed to check out, and it's not just comics. They have audio books, movies, music that you can check out. I think you have like a month that you can check it out, and every month you gotta you return those items digitally, and then you can check out the next set each month. And that's a cool way to, for free, be able to read and watch things at the same time, so you can also save money that way. So it's a lot of different avenues and channels. I hope I didn't overwhelm so much. Again, all these different things I've broke down on a comic book collector's guide on YouTube. I just wanted to start putting this conversation out there for you guys, because you're curious on what ways that I go about saving money in buying my comics. And I use a mixture of all these methods. Mainly for me, they're digital, but I just wanted to show you options on both sides, physical and digital. And if I can talk, spit it out. Comixology constantly runs sales and specials. They are constantly going up and down. And if you go to comixology.com and they have a tab for sales. If you click on the sales tab, you'll see all the current running sales. They'll tell you the sale ends, what day it ends, the date which it ends. Most of the time they end around 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes it might be midnight when they end. It just varies. Sometimes they'll switch over a little bit early, so you just have to keep an eye out. So when the sale ends, a lot of times, especially for like Marvel and DC, they constantly keep sales running. So if it's books you're wanting to buy, definitely when they do sales, they do collected editions. Anything that they have digitally, will throw in a sale, so you can get individual issues, trade paperbacks, Epic Collections. I think Epic Collections normally retail $39.99 for physical version. They're about half that price digitally, and then if you wait for a sale, you can get them for anywhere from as low as $5 to $7-8. So you save a considerable amount going that route. So those are always things to consider as well. So keep your eyes peeled. Like I said, I check multiple times a day. I'll just check the site and see, hey, any sales switched over? And sometimes they'll run multiple sales. Like currently, I'm just looking. Marvel has three different sales going on at the same time on here. So it's like you can just always keep checking, and because you just never know when a new deal might pop up. So you definitely want to be cognizant of where the different places, retailers you're going to want to frequent, and check them constantly for new sales, updated sales. Sometimes they'll even do like little quick flash sales, so you have to be alert. So constantly check so you don't miss out on some good deals. And I'm going to do a better job going forward when it's deals that I will post them via social media or via the Facebook group to give you guys a heads up, because now I know it's something that you guys are more interested in. And if I can relay information to help you guys save money and buy more comics with the money you have, I'm all open to do that. But that's all I have for you guys for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, let me know so I know to continue to make these kind of episodes going forward. And I'll start drilling down on the individual service, and I'll go back and revisit some of that stuff because I know not everyone is a fan of YouTube or consuming video content, or because of how you frequent the show, it's easier for audio. I'll start going back in future installments of the Bargin Bin, and I'll spotlight if you want to know about a Marvel Unlimited or DC Universe in more detail. I can revisit those topics in audio form here in this series for you guys. So just let me know in the comment section, or email me comicbooksavant@gmail.com, or just go to the comicbooksavant.com website. It's a contact us page, and you can go there and just let me know feedback from this episode and what you like to see in a future installment, and I will do my best to bring it to you guys. But that's all I have for you guys for this week. I'm your host, James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant podcast. Until next time, you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.